It's almost time for the Impressions Expo in Fort Worth, Texas, coming up September 14th through the 16th. And we have a great conference lineup for you. I am joined with one of our veteran speakers, Erich Campbell with Bright and Leap. And I know Erich is getting ready he's got some great sessions on embroidery. We're going to talk about that today. Erich, thanks so much for being here. Are you looking forward to getting out to Fort Worth?
Always looking forward to Fort Worth, and always looking forward to Impressions Expo. Kind of that community feeling with all my other decorators that can't be beat, and the Expo is the place to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Expo floor, 25% bigger this year. We got the conference lineup has a lot of new, some sessions that were popular over at Long Beach. And I know that the session that you're presenting is the value proposition for embroidery. Now, you did that at Long Beach. What was some of the feedback that you heard from that, and why are we bringing that over to Fort Worth?
Well, honestly, it's rare that you see somebody like me who's done a lot of e-commerce and other commerce as well as digitizing embroidery get to talk about the sales side of this thing. And whenever we talk about sales, people are kind of nervous to sell. They don't like selling, and they worry about costs and values. And invariably, I'm always asked, I can't charge this much, or how do I charge for things? And this session allows us to talk about the unique value of embroidery and how we can present that value to customers. So we're not just, as I say, devolving to the thousands, where we're talking about $1 per thousand pricing. That is a price people have been recommending to people for the entirety of my 20-plus year career. And you know that the things can't go without changing for 20 years. We have to start understanding that we have more value. And the feedback I got was people thinking they had never really heard these propositions or been instructed on how to give people embroidery at its best and to honestly get paid more for it by understanding that value and being able to communicate it.
Wow. So you were definitely providing those solutions there that hopefully attendees were able to take home with them after the show. For the attendees that are coming, is this kind of a intermediate to beginner class? What do you think that some of the big takeaways for an attendee who's thinking about coming to it that they're going to walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway for me, and it's something that I had to learn myself in the embroidery world. I came in through a multi-decoration shop. So we had print of all kinds going on. We had high-end decoration and embroidery at the same time. And often I found myself apologizing for what embroidery couldn't do. And this session is for you if you want to stop apologizing for these perceived shortcomings of embroidery. Some of the things about color blending and small text, stuff like that, those things that kind of harangue us through our process, and start presenting and pricing based on unique qualities that only embroidery offers. Directly, we're going to talk about how to accentuate those qualities. So I'm literally going to give you some case studies about how I used embroidery and the qualities of embroidery to specifically sell clients, both in a utilitarian way and in an aesthetic way. And we're going to talk about those explanations so that you are armed with those explanations for your customers, as well as going directly to how do we take better photos, how do we show better images and video that let people show how cool embroidery is and how good it is for promotional products, for merch, what qualities it has so that we get that higher value perception from our clients. We know embroidery has been seen as a luxury item since time immemorial. How do we show people that luxury and bring it into the current era, into the current mode of buyers and shoppers, and let them see that value so that we're not kind of fighting for embroidery on the back foot, but we're putting its best foot forward for those customers. So really what we're going to get out of that is that. How to show that value, real use cases on how in my career I used the value of embroidery specifically to sell in a way that print couldn't in that same space, and how do we present it both visually and through our explanations to make it that value proposition that any customer can understand.
That's a great angle to take your class from. And I know that attendees are really going to appreciate those case studies because people come to trade shows like Impressions Expo to see what's working for other people and how they're going to take that into their business for the next year. With Fort Worth being in September, we're going to wrap up 2023 so quick. What advice would you give maybe to a new attendee who is coming in or somebody who's planning for the year ahead, 2024? What are some big opportunities and maybe some challenges that they should be looking out for?
Well, I'll say this much. I know a little bit about the slate. I'm lucky enough to be on kind of the board that helps to advise on some of the new people coming in, and got to introduce some of those people to the organizers over at the expo. And there are tons of opportunities if you just take in all these messages. I mean, I'm going to help you with how to present embroidery. We've got people who are showing these specialty techniques that I'm talking about that give things a more retail flair when you want to get that higher value client kind of pleased, especially in the merch world. And that's something that I'd like people to take kind of notice of. We're in a world now where people are aware of design. They're aware of trends. Trends move very fast, but we can access that stuff. It's available to us. And if we learn technique, which is the thing we all want to learn, but then we remember the promotional side of it and what I always call the plumbing, the business side of it, all these things that we can learn at the expo as well as technique, bring that stuff together and look at these emerging markets. Merch is a big one. And so I want people to think about all these little pockets of maybe smaller creators or smaller buyers that have these highly specialized things that they want. They're trying to produce something that is a little bit above the cut. It's better than what they're seeing out there mass produced. And think of yourself working toward that long tail and getting those orders that are of a higher value per piece. Also, no matter what client we're working on, we know that if we can provide solutions, we're more valuable than just someone who's running a machine. And the way that I always say it, and people who tune into my live streams joke around about this being one of the catchphrases, and this is the nugget that I want you to take away from just this introduction. Be a consultant, not a commodity. Anybody can be someone who pushes the button and runs the shirts through the machine. That is what I always call like the t-shirt box. No matter if you're a printer, embroiderer, whoever you are, you don't just want to be a black box that money comes in and shirts come out. You want to be a solutions provider. They come to you with questions and you have the knowledge of what's going on and the techniques that are available to guide them. Make them the hero, but you be the person that's guiding them through that process, and you're going to have that higher value proposition also as a shop, more than just the value proposition of the goods themselves.
That's great. Yes, you are so much more. I know that everybody is wearing a lot of hats and juggling a lot. So Impressions is going to be the place to come and get that inspiration to move forward. Well, Erich, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to let you get back to it. I want to remind everybody, if you still haven't gotten your tickets for the Fort Worth show, you can do that at impressionsexpo.com. We will see you in Fort Worth. Erich, see you out there. Thanks for joining me.
See you, everybody.